It all started with a game named the League of Infinity. In a preliminary match, our MC, in fact his game character, is doing a 1 vs 5. Our MC, named Choi Kangan, titled Lucifer, boldly jumped into the enemy territory alone. Everyone believes that it would be difficult to fight off, no matter how strong you are or how skilled you are. Doing a 1v5 clutch is insane. The other players underestimate Kangan, saying that he is crazy to even try to defeat them alone. Lucifer charges straight, in front of the Knight, which is playing the tank role of the enemy team. The Knight tries to attack with his hammer, but Kangan uses a simple punch and strongly goes for the first kill. Another player tries to attack Lucifer from the back, but he dodges it swiftly and instantly announces his double kill. With these, 2 of the players of the enemy team were killed. But it seems like the 3 remaining players had immediately begun their counterattack. Kangan uses the skill of the character and instantly goes for the 3rd kill as if he is teleported. He is showing some incredible gameplay using his character S skill to its max. He jumps upwards and uses his special finishing move, which shatters the ground, and with that, 5 of the players were defeated. This showcase of fantastic kills is truly unfathomable. 3 years later, in the esports stadium, something unexpected happened. If you want to know what happened to this guy wearing a cup and why is he so pissed off, then we need to look back to the event which occurred 3 years ago. The globally popular virtual reality AOS game League of Infinity. Choi Kangan, who is League of Infinity's #1 world ranking player. 3 years ago, on his way back home after winning the 2nd place in World Championship, unfortunately got into a car accident and was transferred to the hospital. It was just a mild brain hemorrhage, so there was no major concern. But because of that accident, his life took a major turn, and he has ended up falling into an abyss. After that incident, he has lost countless times, and even his teammates blamed him for losing. Everybody told him to quit, and all of them announced that they can't play with Kangan anymore. Even the team manager told Kangan to retire. Instead, he will keep the news of Kangan's body being damaged a secret. Presently, he leaves the team with his suitcase and firmly stands in front of a railing. He sighs as he says that he is pathetic, because he is still not able to get over his disease. But he also wants to play the game again. Then suddenly on the railing he sees something written. He reads, "God loves you." He laughs out of frustration. He says that if God really exists, then saying that he loves Kangan while giving him this shitty life is nothing but a mockery. He curses the God with anger, and suddenly a truck crashes with him. After some time, an immense red ray of light wakes him up, and he finds himself in an unknown, unfamiliar place. He feels strange and wonders whether it's the afterlife. Surprisingly, he hears a voice from his back saying that this place may or may not be the afterlife. He looks back to see who is there and discovers a mysterious man wearing a mask. Choi Kangan. "Don't you want to start a new life?" the man asks. Kangan blurts out, demanding to know the identity of the person who kidnapped him. The man replies that this isn't kidnapping because kidnapping only applies if the person is alive. Kangan seems rather confused after hearing this, so the man explains that Choi Kangan is already dead. The man says that he killed Kangan and brought him here. Kangan fiercely asks the man why he is doing this and what he wants from Kangan. The masked man replies that it's simply because he is one of Choi Kangan's fans. Nothing, literally nothing this man is saying makes any sense to Kangan, who is totally flabbergasted. The mysterious man explains that he loves gaming, especially League of Infinity. He watched every game that happened on Earth without missing any, and he thinks Choi Kangan is the best pro gamer out there. Kangan questions the man whether he really wants somebody to believe this trash-talking. The man replies that he never asked him to believe that. He says that the most important thing is that Kangan is going to receive a favor from him. With a snap of a finger, we see the scenes of the World Championship of League of Infinity, which happened 3 years ago. The man says that he is going to give Kangan a second chance to prove himself. Upon seeing the scene on a screen, Kangan asks, "What is this?" The masked man replies, "It is the timeline of 3 years ago, the event of the World Championship, where Kangan finished second and also the beginning of his demise. Don't you want to return to that time again and start everything all over again? By achieving the World Championship that you couldn't get 3 years ago? Do you want to rewrite your life?" The man asks coldly and tells Kangan to choose his course of life. Countless questions and theories are weighing on Kangan's mind, but the far most important thing is that if he can start his life again, he will gladly do it in a heartbeat. He repeats that he will do it and fix his damned life. He states that he doesn't care whether he is in front of a god or the evil, he just wants to restart his life. The man claps, saying, "Bravo, bravo." The man states that Kangan is indeed the best maestro he has chosen. He tells Kangan to go back to that world championship 3 years ago and bag the trophy, and he must reborn as the best player ever. Lastly, he says that he will watch over Choi Kangan, so he must become the best player. Presently, we hear someone counting 5, 4 to 1. Kangan looks around and notices that he really came back. Upon regressing 3 years back, he realizes that the person with the mask was telling the truth. Kangan's opponent teases him, asking him whether he is scared of facing them. Kangan replies sarcastically that he definitely is scared. Meanwhile, the announcers are saying that TCD, otherwise known as Team Chinese Dragon, Kangan's opponent team had just ban-picked Ouroboros. Ban-pick means choosing a character to prohibit others from being used. Everyone else has finished selecting their character for the last set of the League of Infinity World Championship, except for Kangan. He was the only one left to pick a character. Our MC has a lot of fans in the stand, and we spot a girl with a banner with Kangan's game username, Lucifer, as she is cheering for him. Kangan's teammate screams at Kangan as he is taking a long time to choose a character and tells him to stop blanking out and choose quickly. Meanwhile, the game commentators also announce that Kangan is the last player left to pick a character. He remembers the last when he played, he had picked a character named Draco, which is Kangan's main character, without knowing what TCD had on their plate. So he thinks to himself about the character he will choose this time. The commentators discuss what his choice might be, as one of them says Kangan might pick Draco because that is his main character, and another commentator says that he might choose another character named Banshee if he does not pick Draco, but he also says that Draco is the best fit for Kangan. When Kangan finally chooses his character, his pick surprises everyone, the commentators, his fans, and the girl who was cheering for him from the beginning. He picks a character called Hong Gil-dong, who is perceived as a weak character in the game. The game announcers announce this on the speakers. His teammates scream at him in anger and in confusion for his choice. And even members of the audience speculate as to why he made such a choice to pick a weak character for the final set of the championship. The commentators discuss among themselves, where one of them comments saying he doesn't quite understand Kangan's pick, and the other commentator says whether Kangan made a mistake because of his nervousness. The girl who was previously cheering for Kangan also looks disappointed. The crowd says minions would have been better than this. They throw insults at Kangan, saying things like he is crazy and he is forfeiting the game before it even begins, etc. Kangan thinks to himself that he has no time to explain his pick and he has no choice but to prove it by the end result. Kangan thinks to himself that up until now, Hong Gil-dong is nothing more than just a troll pick, as both of its pick rate and winning percentage is the lowest. But if this character was properly utilized to its true value, it'll become an overpowering character, and that overpowering skill is only known by Kangan. The skills he chooses again surprises everyone. The commentator says that if even the setting pick is a variety show pick, what on earth is going on with Kangan? His teammate swears at him and asks whether he is determined to lose. His opponents make fun of him, saying Kangan has lost his mind, and he made a troll pick because he knew he couldn't win against them, and another opponent member asks whether he thinks he can win if he picks something that no one has ever heard or seen of, and says he is set to be trampled on today. Kangin's teammate threatens him, saying he will kill Kangan if he is messing around this time. Kangan thinks, even without his opponent saying that, he is going to carry the game. The announcers say that even though it is hard to understand, the players have all made their choices and they announce the World Championship Finals Set 5 begin. They all enter a place in the game known as the Immortal Battlefield. Minions have been summoned in the game. The member of the opponent team says that with Kangan acting the way he is, the Slayers, which is Kangan's team, are no longer their match, and he says to his teammates to fight them from the very first and break their momentum. The minions of both the teams clash against each other. The commentators announce that the first player to appear in the midline is the character Gabrielle, played by TCS Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei wonders where Kangan is, when suddenly Kangan attacks Xiao Wei from behind. They exchange blows. Both of them tease each other. Kangan teases Xiao Wei by saying he has improved a lot as he is going into Kangan's territory without any fear. Xiao Wei replies by saying it is funny coming from someone who had just decided to lose from the very beginning, and says whether Kangan thinks he can deal with Xiao Wei using such a trash character. He also says that today is the day when Xiao Wei will take away the position of world's best midliner from Kangan. Kangan replies saying it is all bullshit, and that from this point onwards, Xiao Wei is going to be trampled on by this trashy character. He says he hopes Xiao Wei came wearing diapers, because he is going to make Xiao Wei wet himself. This angers Xiao Wei, and he curses and attacks Kangan, swinging his spear. The announcers say that the curse word said by Xiao Wei is very racist, and he will be faced with a fine and a 30-day suspension because of it. The girl who is cheering for Kangan tells Kangan to kill Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei steps back a little due to all the blows he is receiving from Kangan. Kangan then uses a skill called flying swordsmanship to obliterate all of TCD's minions. Xiao Wei thinks to himself that he made a mistake, just as the commentators announce that Kangan's character has leveled up to level 2. Kangan thinks to himself that from now on, it's the second round, as he attacks Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei gets confused as to how a weak character can do this much damage to him. Their fierce battle goes on, and Xiao Wei uses a skill called Spear of Penetration on Kangan. But it does not work as the name suggests, because the spear is unable to penetrate Kangan in any way. Kangan again attacks Xiao Wei using flying swordsmanship and causes some heavy damage to Xiao Wei, lowering his health bar. He gets shocked to see his strength decrease so much and uses a skill, the turret recall, to escape from Kangan. Xiao Wei curses Kangan, calling him a son of a bitch, and says he will take care of him the next time Xiao Wei sees him. But as he is saying this, suddenly a bolt of lightning falls behind Xiao Wei, and he turns around to see it is Kangan, who has used Tower Dive from level 2. The commentators' jaws drop at this move as they wonder whether the skill Kangan has just used is the teleportation skill that lets a player appear anywhere. Kangan smirks and says to Xiao Wei whether he thinks Kangan can't catch Xiao Wei if he runs away. Xiao Wei calls Kangan a crazy bastard. The commentators say that this move is just like him, as once he sets his sights on a target, he never lets go, but he is still underleveled to dive into enemy territory. Xiao Wei says that trying a tower dive at level 2 is basically suicide. Kangan goes wild to get the first kill in the game. Xiao Wei shoots Kangan with some turret shots while calling him an idiot. This causes Kangan to fly backwards. Xiao Wei uses a skill called Holy Spear of Piercing to attack Kangan, while saying that this is what he gets for charging the tower at level 2. Kangan blocks the attack with a skill called East to West, Unstoppable, while saying, "Didn't I say I came here to get you?" He blocks the attack and gets close to Xiao Wei and attacks him, riddling him with blade strikes using a skill called Heavenly Sword Technique. When he uses this technique, he manages to kill Xiao Wei and gets first blood of the game. The commentators gasp at this, and the crowd goes wild, and the girl who was cheering for Kangan cheers harder. Announcements ring out saying Lucifer, aka Kangan, scored the first kill of the game. He managed to kill Xiao Wei, but he has barely any health left to survive the turret's attacks. But Kangan does not look worried, but instead smiles. The turret hits him and he is no longer visible, so the announcers assume Kangan died, and they say he would have been fine if he had one more bar of health, and that in the end it turned into a trade-off, but it's all good, as he got first blood and picked up 500 gold, so the early game momentum goes to Slayer's Kangan's team. But suddenly, Kangan appears saying that was not enough to kill him. His opponent gets shocked as to why he didn't get the kill bonus of 300 gold. The announcers announce that Kangan is still alive as they get surprised. His opponent Zhao Wei gets angry and frustrated at this and says, "Why Kangan isn't dead already?" Kangan survived because of his mastery pick, Victory's Roar, which gives the player 1 second of invincibility, and that is why he survived the turret's last hit. He uses his character's power to teleport using a blue flame in a cool way, saying, "See ya, suckers." The crowd and the girl cheering for him go wild at this gesture, and they give him compliments and cheer for him. Meanwhile, in real life, Kangan's teammate apologizes for his behavior with him before, and Kangan says he has nothing to be sorry about, but rather Kangan himself should be sorry for surprising his teammates with that surprise pick. In order to throw TCD off, he had to keep it a secret from even his own team. He tells his teammate to play the game like usual, and he will carry the game. His teammates all show their trust in him as they obey his words and support him. Zhao Wei gets jealous and says he survived due to pure luck. Zhao Wei kills a minion, when suddenly Kangan is back again to fight with him. The commentator in unison say Kangan is heading to mid again, sweeping up some stray minions along the way and unlocking his W skill, which is called Clone Technique. So, he goes in front of Zhao Wei and clones himself, and he and all his clones attack Zhao Wei at the same time, riddling him with slashes, relentlessly attacking and pummeling Zhao Wei into the ground. Zhao Wei backs up and says, "What's with all the damage Kangan is inflicting upon him?" Kangan teases Zhao Wei, saying, "Why are you backing up? Aren't you the mid laner? Not gonna farm those minions? No XP or gold?" Zhao Wei gets extremely frustrated, but he handles his cool and backs off as he thinks to himself that if he tries to go in now, he would just be handing Kangan a free kill. Kangan once again secures the mid lane, and the commentators announce this. He places an item called a ward, which is a tool to reveal hidden enemies. Meanwhile, the moment Zhao Wei backs up, TCD's jungler and support are setting up for an ambush on Slayers, but as Kangan had placed down a ward, he can see all their moves. Zhao Wei initiates a surprise attack on Kangan, which he barely manages to dodge. Zhao Wei says, this time he is going to smash Kangan's head in. Kangan asks, whose head does he think he is smashing? Zhao Wei says Kangan is already caught in his trap. Kangan says Zhao Wei even sneaked into an enemy's lane to launch a surprise attack, just to catch Kangan, and no matter where he tries to escape, it will be 3 versus 1, so Zhao Wei will be on Kangan's tail no matter what. Zhao Wei, while attacking Kangan, says there's no escape for him. Kangan replies saying, Zhao Wei should have healed up a bit more before coming for Kangan, as Kangan is on fire right now as he activates a passive skill known as Instant Kill. He strikes down Zhao Wei with a massive burst, boosted by his skill effect, and receives 300 bonus points. But the jungler is targeting Kangan, but Kangan disappears using a skill called Desperate Strike, so the jungler misses his attack. He reappears behind TCD's support and sarcastically says, "Care for a little chat? Just the two of us?" And he kills the support instantly. Kangan single-handedly manages to crush the ambush from 3 TCD players by obtaining a double kill. Kangan says he can see all of his opponent's moves like the back of his hand. Meanwhile, the person with the mask who sent Kangan back to the past is watching Kangan through a glass globe and says Kangan really plays like a demon, and his story shouldn't end this easily, as a hero's tale needs a touch of danger. As Kangan killed the jungler and the support of TCD, the Slayers team uses the chance to go after the lone marksman from TCD. The sniper in Slayers team takes down the marksman, and they extend their lead to 4-0. One of Kangan's teammates compliment him on his excellent gameplay as he wiped out a 3 versus 1 with a double kill and no deaths, but Kangan tells them not to make such a big deal out of it, and he had already told them he would carry the game. However, Kangan's other teammates are not taking as big as of a liking to him. The guy in the mask notices this. Kangan again goes to attack Zhao Wei, and Zhao Wei calls him a crazy jerk and asks him why he is coming after Zhao Wei again and again. Kangan replies he has always been about beating down one target at a time. Zhao Wei attacks multiple times with his spear, but Kangan dodges it every time. Zhao Wei screams at Kangan to get lost, to which Kangan replies saying, he will go, but only after killing Xiao Wei 10 times. He only has to kill Xiao Wei 8 more times to complete his goal. He uses a skill called Justice, served to take down Xiao Wei once again. He obtains 5 kills solo. The crowd goes into a frenzy at this. Kangan and another teammate of his are together in front of an enemy. Kangan asks his teammate whether he trusts Kangan. His teammate says why Kangan is asking this all of a sudden. Meanwhile, his other teammates get jealous of Kangan as they say Kangan is hogging all the glory, and if they end up doing nothing, what will happen to them later? They think that they will be left in the dust, and they will be stuck doing whatever Kangan says, and he might even get them kicked off the team. So they decide to disobey Kangan and attack TCD, who is all over the place now, and they attack TCD without Kangan. The commentators get shocked as they attack without a plan. They all get killed almost instantly. Xiao Wei says they threw the game Kangan had practically won for them. Kangan gets very disappointed at this, as this is the possible turning point for TCD and the Slayer's loss. Kangan's teammates apologize to Kangan for their mistake. Kangan gets very angry and tells them to shut up while calling them trolling idiots, and says he was a fool for trusting them. Kangan gets really angry and absolutely destroys them using insults. The power of words are very underrated. Kangan tells them that the minute he stumbled, they all jumped at the chance to tear Kangan down. He calls them a bunch of washed-up nobodies and tells them to get out if they are only going to drag Kangan down. He specifically criticizes one of his teammates, whose name is Taisik, and tells him he tried to take Kangan down out of pure jealousy. Kangan says he knew what kind of people they all were, but he held on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, things would change. But now all hope is gone, and he is done playing with them all and even playing this game. He uses his skill, east to west, unstoppable. Seizing this opportunity, TCD takes the chance and starts the Bahamut raid. Bahamut is a monster who can be taken down by either team, and that team will get massive experience, gold buffs, and items. TCD risks it all as an effort to pull off a comeback. Kangan alone goes against 5 of TCD's players. Kangan takes down one of TCD's players whose name is TCD Ryu and says all this is getting old and now is the time to end it all. Some people in the audience speculate that even Kangan cannot handle a 5 versus 1, well, actually 4 versus 1, as he already took down one of the members. The girl who was cheering for Kangan hears this and says that the unstoppable Lucifer always wins while hyping up the audience. Lucifer is Kangan's gamer tag. As Kangan attacks them, Xiao Wei tells his teammates to forget killing Bahamut and to take down Kangan first. They all attack Kangan at once, but Kangan uses cloning technique to produce multiple clones of himself. Each of his clones take on each member of TCD. He decides to take on the target with the lowest health, which is the marksman of TCD. He uses his passive skill, called Instant Kill, and slashes the marksman. He gets attacked by another player, but he uses another sword slash to kill both the marksman and the other player. He then says that now it is the jungler's turn. Only Xiao Wei and the jungler remain at this point. Xiao Wei says this is the end and he is going to crush Kangan for good this time. Kangan tells them not to get too cocky even though it is a 2 versus 1 scenario, as the 1 is Kangan himself. As he says this, suddenly, Bahamut lands behind Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei turns around in terror to see Bahamut standing tall behind him. "You bugs think you can just ignore me and fight among yourselves?" Bahamut speaks from behind as he roars. Bahamut says that every last one of them will become dead meat today for disturbing him. Meanwhile, Lucifer smiles, thinking that the enemy team is a fool for believing that he would take a 1 versus 5 without any plans. He says that the TCD players were done for from the moment they woke up Bahamut. Taking advantage of Bahamut's chaos, Kangan finishes off the jungler with a quadra kill. Xiaowei realizes that Kangan was planning to use Bahamut as a bait from the very beginning. Kangan says that Xiaowei shouldn't die in Bahamut's hand. Instead, he should help Kangan to receive his fantastic kill. Xiaowei drops down his weapon surrendering, praising Kangan by saying that he is worthy of the title Monster. Lastly, before getting killed, Xiaowei states that the victory goes to the team Slayers. Lucifer disagrees by saying that the winner isn't the team Slayers, it's him, one and only him. With TCD's surrender, the game is over. The winners of the World Championship Finals are the Slayers. Now the award ceremony of First League of Infinity World Championship will begin. One of the teammates of Lucifer tries to grab the trophy, but Kangan snatches it away, saying that this trophy is his, and nobody should think about touching it. Then, the MVP of the tournament, Choi Kangan, proudly lifts the Immortal Cup. This is just the start of something new for Kangan, so he tells the Golden Mask to get ready, because he will see something even better next time. The Golden Mask guy was watching Kangan's match from above. Meanwhile, a lady named Sybil enters, calling him her brother. Sybil tells her brother that she always supported his decisions and never doubted him, but picking that guy named Choi Kangan, she can't bring herself to support this decision. She conveys that Kangan is weak. He couldn't even handle a low-level mercenary. The Golden Mask explains that Choi Kangan is a man with potential, but he guesses Sybil just can't see it for the time being. After hearing this, Sybil shouts, saying that she trusts her brother's judgment, but this is too risky. If you're going to take a risk, wouldn't it make more sense to bring in a powerhouse from another dimension? Like the Iron Blood Emperor, for example? The Golden asks, which makes Sybil flinch for a moment and grabs her attention as if she herself was about to say that. The mask guy explains that the Iron Blood Emperor is a hero who's defended both Earth and Pangaea 7 times over. The ultimate demigod and ruler, someone Choi Kangan couldn't even compare to right now. But bringing him here isn't just risky, it's practically inviting disaster. But why? Couldn't we get his cooperation if we offered him what he wants? Sybil questions abruptly. Her brother replies that they can't give the Emperor whatever he wants because the Emperor has created his own world. So what could a person who has created his own world would want? Money, fame, and power. The Emperor has achieved all of it. Lastly, they just have this world to offer. Were you thinking of handing over this world to the Emperor, my dear sister? The guy asks. More importantly, the Golden Mask says that even if they summon them, all the power holders wouldn't move according to their plans. After understanding the situations and consequences, Sybil apologies to her brother. The Golden Mask explains that the reason he chose Choi Kangan is because Kangan is different. He's young, he's got ambition, he wants to win and keep winning, to reach the top, and because he's trying to rebuild his life after hitting rock bottom, he'll follow their lead without questions. On Earth, on the stage of the World Championship, Kangan says thank you for all the support he has got so far. Moreover, he is happy to stand here as the victor. He says that he has an important announcement to make. He announces that as of today, he is leaving the Slayers team. This announcement shocked everyone. What did he just say? All of them shout at the same time as they are totally flabbergasted. After the end of the tournament, the coach of the Slayers shouts at Kangan for creating such a huge scene on the stage of the World Championship. He says that Kangan should have talked with him first before making this decision. He says that he knows Kangan is not happy with how things are going on the team, but he doesn't have any right to do things like this either. Kangan replies that there were countless times when he tried to talk with the coach, but the coach always ignored him, so this time he ignored the coach. The coach's attitude and countenance takes a 180-degree after realizing the fact that Team Slayer may lose his one and only ace player. So he decides to become soft and offers to double Kangan's salary, and he will get the championship bonus. In addition, the coach will let him take charge of the team rebuild. "Do you have any idea how much it'll cost you if you leave now?" the coach shouts, and his attitude again changes. Kangan replies that the coach can take all the bonus and prize money of the World Championship, and that should cover the cost. The coach gets furious as he says that he will not let Kangan join any other teams with his connections, and he will make sure that Kangan never gets to play pro again. The moment Kangan is about to burst into anger, the gate opens and a lady enters. After entering, she states that she will like to have a chat with Mr. Choi, also known as Lucifer the First World Championship of League of Infinity. Kangan perceives that the woman standing in front of him must be a VIP as she entered the player's waiting room as if it was nothing. The coach calls this woman the chairwoman. "Chairwoman?" Kangan repeats. The coach shouts at Choi, telling him to greet the chairwoman properly. The coach introduces that she's the chairwoman of Balboa Games, the company that created the League of Infinity, and she is known as Eva Grinnell. Eva ignores the coach as she says that it's enough with the formality. She says that she would like to have a conversation with Mr. Choi for a moment. Kangan firmly declines, saying that he is busy. Eva Grinnell smiles as she expected that it will go like this, since she is talking with the world champion. She states that they are arranging a private plane for Kangan to return to Korea immediately, and it's just for him. Moreover, she says that until he arrives in Korea, he will have VIP services, including bodyguards. With that, he won't be interrupted by other people and be able to travel safely and comfortably until he lands, so she tells him that she will provide him with all of these facilities if he agrees to spare just 5 minutes. These privileges successfully grab Kangan's attention, as he thinks that if the chairwoman and really did what she said, then he believes he won't be hit by that car again. After thinking deeply about it, he decides to agree, and they both sit on the sofa with a cup of tea. Eva Grinnell explains that the reason she asked for a meeting with Mr. Choi Kangan was because of that bombshell announcement he made at the prizing ceremony. While lifting the cup, Kangan asks whether he made a huge fuss at the prizing ceremony. Eva smiles as she speaks that the prestigious title of the winner of the first ever world championship to this game, but then that person is announcing his departure from the team. At the prizing ceremony is not an ordinary thing to happen. So as a chairwoman, it is her duty to grab and ask what Kangan is going to do from now on. Eva says that for someone who had just ascended to the top of the world, then retired immediately after, is an absurd thing to do, unless that person is crazy, of course. But after some thoughts, she realizes that Kangan hasn't signed any contract with another team in advance as well. She asks whether Kangan is thinking of forming his own team. In addition, she says that she assumes that Kangan had thought about doing this for a long time. Choi Kangan expected that as a chairwoman of a company. She can literally see through things. He thinks that he couldn't achieve his dream before his regression, but he can now. He decides that with those 4 people in his mind, he can definitely form the strongest team ever. He says that he is going to form his own team, and he has already decided on the members to recruit. Moreso, he states that League of Infinity is just starting, and from now on, there will be rookies with scary talents joining in as well, but he wants to build a strong team with strong skills. As a defending champion, he doesn't think he can just give up that spot. The chairwoman Eva Grinnell was completely dazzled while listening to Kangan's point of view. Eva praises player Choi Kangan by saying that he is brimming with the passion of a champion, although she is not sure if that passion is a professional passion or just something to just satisfy Kangan's competitive spirit and fighting desire. Eva thanks Kangan for lending his precious time. She tells him not to worry about any problems regarding the breach of contract. She will address the penalty issue with Balboa Games, but she will also ensure that Kangan wouldn't face any setbacks in the future. Lastly, Eva walks while saying that she will only watch over Kangan without interfering. That is to see how long he will be able to save that Lucifer title. Kangan thinks that it doesn't matter whether she is a spectator or a gladiator slave from the Colosseum because he will make full use of what he has. He is determined not to repeat that damned life again. Suddenly, some shadows began to appear from beneath the ground and start to grab him. He wonders where he is going this time around. Was going back to the past not enough of a fantasy? He asks. He lands on a plain grass field, also known as a battle arena, and discovers an orc in front of him. As Kangan is trying to fathom the situation, the orc immediately tries to attack with the axe. Kangan makes a run to buy some time, and surprisingly enough, an information window pops up in front of his face. It's a regular quest. The quest tells him to defeat the orc gladiator named Guntrak. It also states that this quest's difficulty level is low, and he will get 300 points of experience, but the time limit is only 30 minutes. Kangan says that he is going to die, for real this time. The audience cheers for the orc and tells Guntrak to kill the skinny human. The orc named Guntrak tells Kangan to fight instead of running away like a rat. Guntrak swings his axe towards Kangan, but Kangan dodges it successfully. Guntrak tells Kangan that he has no gladiator's pride. The reason why Kangan is here fighting the orc is because of the golden mask. The golden mask, while watching the match, states that Kangan's heroic tale won't be so boring, and this is the price he has to pay in order to go to his past. Guntrak calls Kangan useless, while the audience tells the orc to kill the human again. They shout that this human is worth nothing since he only runs away. After hearing all of the audience's cruises, Kangan gets extremely furious and fearless. He tells the watcher that they have no right to judge his worth. Some past memories come into Kangan's mind. Kangan shouts that he has been struggling in despair and was trying to live a proper life after getting a miraculous opportunity. So after hearing people calling him and his precious life useless, he can't take it any longer and decides to fight. He states that the one who is going to die here is not him but the orc, while awakening the rune of transcendence online. The golden mask says that it's time for Choi Kangan to finally wake up. Kangan rushes forward with a sword and his chakra gets activated. Suddenly, an information pops up that level 30 of Imperial swordsmanship skill is now unlocked. Immediately, many swordsmanship skills unfold in his mind. He decides to try these for once and takes a stand. He starts to swing his sword like a professional while dodging the orc's attack. Finally, Kangan's sword reaches the orc's body, more precisely the left hand of Guntrak. The audience recognizes this swordplay style, and they are the flabbergasted to witness that it's the official Imperial swordsmanship. They wonder whether Kangan was an Imperial knight. Kangan gets puzzled while listening to the watchers, since he has never heard anything about the Imperial swordsmanship. Guntrak says that he didn't know that Kangan had been hiding his skills from the beginning. The orc gets enraged to know that he was fooled by a measly human. He runs towards Kangan, and this time he is determined to make sure he kills the human. Guntrak starts to throw many punches at Kangan, but Kangan swiftly dodges all of these as if it's nothing. He perceives that the orc's movements are so simple, and the most advantageous thing is that the orc is not equipped with any weapons. He predicts that he can win this if he plays well. Guntrak grabs Kangan by the shoulder and gives a headbutt. Kangan couldn't shake it off because the orc's strength is superior to his. Then Guntrak grabs Kangan's neck and makes it hard for him to breathe. Kangan starts to lose his senses and wonders whether this is the end for him. Meanwhile, the golden mask's voice reaches Kangan's ears. "Are you going to end it like this? I gave you a chance, but you're so pathetic, are you? If you die here, then who will take care of your family?" the golden mask asks. These questions wake Kangan up. He says that he can't die here for his mom and his little sister. his chakra of destruction activated, which increases his strength. He jumps and delivers a headbutt to the orc with immense strength, which makes Guntrack fall to the ground.